Hello, this is Mr. Siege, and today I'll be testing out Stephen the Great, but only at 5511, because I think he could make quite a good budget march. Obviously, his active skill does a ton of healing, and that's something we haven't had from, Margaret and Garjamada, which are probably two of our best primary commanders that we've got in the game at the moment. So yes, this is the same test as we've done before. We do the 3-minute test. Obviously, got some other tests we're going to do later in the video as well, but primarily we'll be testing out Stephen at 5511. Now, I will max him in a few days as well once I've completed the King's Tribute event. And if you haven't got your hands on him, get your hands on him right away as soon as you can. So first of all, we're testing John with Stephen, obviously, which I think will be a fantastic pairing when maxed. But it's actually 14.2k to 61.7k. Now you can't see this on this image, but I will go back to it in a minute because you do have pressed battle data to find that information. But right now we're going to get Stephen and John at the ready. So yeah, Stephen and John on the field, and we're going to do exactly the same test again. And obviously compare these reports, because this will give us a good idea whether Stephen or John is going to be the best primary commander. Now, I would expect it to be John. I would have always expected it to be John because of the rage gain. Absolutely crazy rage gain, to be honest with you. Now, again, this isn't the perfect test because John and Stephen, if you pair them together, they're going to hurt marches more when they're under 50%. Those marches that are almost dead or halfway dead are going to get hurt a lot more. So this test was 14k to 54k with Stephen as primary. But yeah, John primary was better, 14k to 61.7k. It just was. There was 162k remaining there with John and Stephen. Stephen and John only had 151k remaining, and I will show you the talent tree we've got on Stephen later in the video. Now, the Stephen talent tree I've got on at the moment probably is more suited to running Cordoba with him, and obviously this is the test we're going to do right now. And obviously this is what I think would be, should get quite a decent result out of this one. Obviously Cordoba is one of the best engineering troops now, engineering commanders right now, and well, personally I think he's the best engineering commander right now anyway. Yes, the good thing about Stephen again is he provides a healing on his active skill, unlike any other commander in the game. Well, engineering commander in the game, of course. Margaret, you have to wait until her expertise. So 13.9k, no, 14k to 70k. Now, yeah, that's pretty good so far. That's definitely the best we've had at the moment. 177k remaining as well. Which, comparing it with the others, yeah, it's just so much better. Yeah, 177k remaining, as you can see here, which is decent survivability, which you expect from this Stephen as primary. Now, the more troops you have in this Stephen march, the better, because obviously mighty healing works a lot better for the increased amount of troops. So we're going to switch them around this time, and we're going to use Cordoba as primary, and see if that can be any better this time. So Cordoba Stephen, and the attack tree is quite good. It does a lot of damage over a short period of time, but generally the amount of troops remaining is less. So I kind of expect to see that again, although the damage output from Cordoba could sort of make up for the amount of troops remaining in the march. And let's have a look here. So 16.4k to 80.7k there, 81k almost. And comparing it to the other report, well, he's done 10k more severely wounded, which is kind of crazy, to be honest. We did take a lot more severely wounded, but we've dealt a lot more damage. So that could be preferable if you're going to run Cordoba and Stephen. It'd be really interesting to find out how this march is going to perform when expertised. So at 5511, it's probably performing as well as Margaret, I'd say, at this point. Obviously, I need to put them into a spreadsheet that Devesk has obviously sorted out for me, and we can compare results there. because obviously we did do Margaret testing at 5111, and yes, it's good, but you don't get any healing. So that'd be interesting to see the amount of troops remaining on those two reports. You know, I had 170k remaining here, which is very, very good. So you could spend a bit more time in the field than your Margaret 5111 potentially. Could be quite a good budget march. And this is obviously what we're testing in this one. So this is a test that a lot of people have been waiting for, your Babur and Cordoba. And as you can see, it slaps, 16k to 132k. Okay, 164k remaining, so not a huge amount of troops remaining. Nothing compared to like your Gauge or Cordoba, which is almost your full march still after 3 minutes. But if you do want to do a lot of damage over a short period of time, of course this march absolutely slaps. You know, and if someone's city popping and you just want to hurt them over a shorter period of time again, this is probably going to be the march. So we're going to switch them around and run Cordoba as primary. Now that'll take some doing to beat that report there. But yeah, that was a decent result. Is it better than what I expected? Probably not. I knew it would do a lot of damage, but you've got no healing in that march. So we've got no healing at all, and it will eventually, die sooner than the marches with healing in. 15.6k to 117k. Definitely not as good as running Babur as primary, but it is actually a very, very good result again. So yeah, definitely not disappointing there. 165k remaining. Well, actually Gonzalo primary was 182k remaining. Now this is one that we didn't test last time, and honestly I wasn't really sure about it. So it's John and Caesar. Now the trouble with running John and Caesar is John hasn't got a massive output of damage in his active skill, so the buff you've got from Caesar isn't really going to have a great effect, and that's the all damage buff. Obviously running Caesar with someone like Cordoba is going to be a lot more effective, because obviously Cordoba has got a high amount of AoE damage, especially at melee range. So yeah, 16.5k to 48k, it's really not greatly effective. It's obviously, this is max John as well. Obviously Caesar's kind of free to everybody, but you'd definitely rather max Cordoba from the past results that we've done. That's going to be the better option really. So next up we're going to go back to Stephen again, and we're going to do Stephen Babur. This is kind of like a request from Stu from My Kingdom, who's keen on seeing this result. Obviously again, we haven't got Stephen max just yet, it's just 5511, but again, for a budget march, if someone maxed Babur before, how could this Stephen march at low investment, how could it match up to, saying like Cordoba? Like I recommend everybody maxing Cordoba. If you're going to get an engineering march, go out and max Cordoba, because Cordoba is just the best engineering commander you can possibly get. So we've got 12k to 60k here, and honestly that's not a bad result. It's quite impressive, and I think that was actually better than I'm going to go back and have a look at some of these other results. So from before we had John Stephen did 14k to 61, so to be honest it's not much different. 12k to 60k, in fact we took less severely wounded for ourselves, so it probably is a better report than running John Stephen. But obviously if you are going to micromanage a march and you're going to hit half health marches, John and Stephen is probably going to be the better option, and we're yet to max Stephen, so that could be more interesting on the next tests we do. So we're going to run Babur Stephen now and see how that performs. Now again, I did mention that the Stephen tree isn't fully on the skill side, it's not fully maxed on the skill side of the tree. Again, I will show you very, very shortly, but Babur's probably going to do more damage here, just a bit like Cordoba did. Okay, 14.8k to 76k, and that's surprising. That's actually quite a lot of damage there. 174k remaining isn't bad at all. And to be honest, yeah, that's performed better than John has at the moment. So Babur actually looking the better option with Stephen. At least at this point with Stephen at 5511, which is surprising. So again, time will tell. Now let's go and look at this tree here on Stephen. So I've obviously maxed the engineering tree and put the 3 points into the march speed there. Now rejuvenate, I've again maxed out. You could go for feral nature, which is if you max the skill tree, and that will have some impact on this, but I don't think it'll have like masses of an impact into the results. So that we will have to see. So guys, I hope that 5511 testing helps. Now I'm going to get this put into the spreadsheet we have on the Mr. Siege Discord server. If you haven't joined that yet, go and check it out in the description to this video. It's on the description to every other recent video I've done, and yeah, it's worth definitely having a look at, and we can compare every single march there that we've tested, every single result, every single report, and we put it into a sort of a decently understandable table. At least I think it is. So I'm going to go back, add these reports, and go and check it out. We'll show you that in the next video as well. So obviously I'm going to come back and do the maxed Stephen testing and see how that goes. So I'm expecting big things from Stephen. It's looking very, very promising. Honestly, at 5511 he's doing a fantastic job in my opinion. Let me know what you think in the comments section, and I'll see you on the next one, guys. This is Mr. Siege, and bye bye.